Since you hit play on Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast today, I want to make sure that you know that our free self-love challenge is happening in February 2024 right here on the podcast. The goal of this challenge is to make creating an intentional practice of self-love even easier than ever simply by plugging in your earbuds and listening for about 10 minutes per day. But for the full experience, you're going to want to get the scorecard so you can enter the giveaways, get the daily journal prompts sent to your inbox, and join us for the live wrap-up podcast recording. Yes, you get to join me in the studio and record the podcast together live. It is all free. Go to wifeteachermommy.com/self-love challenge to sign up. Again, it is completely free. You'll get a daily reminder with the free 10-minute coaching each day and your journal prompt, and you will see a transformation over these 14 days. It is not only going to impact your relationship with yourself, but as I'll teach during the challenge, it is going to impact every single other relationship you have in your life, your relationship with other people, your relationship with teaching. That energy is going to impact every single other aspect of your life. So sign up at wifeteachermommy.com/self-love challenge. It's free. Now let's get to the episode. You are listening to episode 102 of Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. 3 steps to transform your teacher life using a vision board. Call it crazy or woo-woo, but it's actually science-backed. In this episode, I'll share why it works, and you'll walk away with everything you need to know about creating a vision board that will set you up for an intentional life. Welcome to Wife Teacher Mommy, the podcast. I'm Kelsey Sorensen, a former elementary teacher and current homeschool mom. And even though I've been a resource creator since 2014, I've realized that printables alone aren't all you need in order to thrive as a teacher or homeschool parent. That's why I also created this show and got certified as a life coach to help you finally kick burnout to the curb and feel confident with whatever challenges come your way. With the right mindset strategies and new teaching inspiration, you're going to be well on your way to your best teacher life. Now let's go. Really quick though, before we begin, I want to remind those of you, hop into the Wife Teacher Mommies Unite Facebook group and join if you have it. And once you're in, be sure to watch the group because next week we are doing our huge Wife Teacher Mommy giveaway to celebrate 100 episodes on the podcast. There'll be tons of prizes, including one of our teacher planners, tons of teaching resources, an adorable backpack, like all kinds of stuff. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure that you join the Wife Teacher Mommies Unite Facebook group to join in on all the fun. And the great thing about this giveaway is it's really easy. There's not like a million hoops to jump through. Like all the entries are just a comment with a fun get to know you question. Like, what is your favorite color? I mean, that's probably not one of them, but like, what are your favorite types of pens? Or what do you do about this or whatever? They're really get to know you questions kind of for the group to get everybody, get to know each other, build community inside the group. I really think finding a teacher community is huge for all of us. So be sure to join in on all of the fun. Okay, now let's get to the content. Are you ready to hear all about vision boards? I am so excited for this episode, and I honestly can't believe that it's taken over 100 episodes for me to do an episode on this topic. It's something that's been a real game changer for me, and I didn't realize that everybody might want to hear about it. I think in the back of my mind, I was worried that people might think it's a little like woo-woo or crazy, but honestly, as I dove into the research, it is a game changer for me, and why would I want to withhold that from you? And I had mentioned it in my very popular session that I've done at lots of conferences, Own Your Teacher Wins, and I have been asked because it was like just one method I shared of how to track your wins. And I kept getting asked, like, have you done a podcast episode about vision boards? Have you shared more about this? And I hadn't. So now I'm really excited to share my methods with you so you can take them and use them to improve your life as well. Now, you might even be wondering, like, what is a vision board? And the real gist of it is actually just like, it can be anything. It can be like a cardboard that you hang on your wall, and it just has pictures and quotes. And honestly, it is your thing. You get to make it whatever you want. I'm going to explain a bit more. Basically, it's a visualization of the intentions you want to set in your life. It can be visualizing goals. It can be visualizing things you want to remember, vibes that you want to feel in your life, quotes to remind yourself of. And we're going to dive into this a little bit more. And I'm really excited to just chat about this. So, what I'm going to be sharing are just 3 simple steps to help you transform your teacher life with that vision board. So, I'm just going to dive in now. So, step number 1 is understanding why vision boards work. So, the purpose behind them, like I said, is for them to help you create the life that you want to create. Now, vision boards are basically there to help you manifest your goals. And it is kind of like, if you've heard of like the law of attraction, it's like, what you focus on grows. What you think about, what you want, kind of invite into your life comes into it. And it's kind of like how we talk about your thoughts create your feelings, drive your actions, drive your results. Like the model is really built into this as well. It's what we focus on grows. And it's not just woo woo. It's not just like, oh, like if you think about it, it'll happen or whatever. It's not just that. This is science backed. And let me tell you why. And there is actually a term for this, and it is called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. And what it is it's a part of the brain responsible for filtering information and influencing our focus and perception. Now, it kind of helps us pay attention to certain things while ignoring others based on our goals and priorities. It's kind of why you probably heard that, like, let's say you're shopping for a car or something, and you're looking for a red Chevy or something. I say that because my husband has a red Chevy truck. Or, for example, when my husband, he was actually looking for his old Chevy truck, all of a sudden he was seeing them way more than he was before. And it's not that all of a sudden there were more like 50s trucks around. It's just that he was happening to notice them a lot more. And you probably notice this sensation in your life. And that is because of the reticular activating system. So the same thing happens with what we focus on. Like if we're constantly focusing on negative aspects of our lives, or if we're constantly like ruminating on things, it could be anything that we're focusing on. We notice more of that in our lives. So if we're focusing even on a person, like, oh, all the negative things about them, then we're not going to have as good of feelings about that person than if we were trying to like focus on the positive things or whatnot. Now, this is the same thing that makes a vision board work. So when you have a vision board and you have these intentions up and you actually use it and you look at it each day, that is, impacting the reticular activating system. So your brain starts filtering and searching for evidence of what is happening on your vision board and helps you kind of focus in that direction, which leads you towards those things, right? Based on your goals and your priorities. So when you create a vision board, you are essentially programming your reticular activating system to focus on those goals and intentions. And when you spend just a few minutes on it each day, you are able to really reap the benefits of doing that, of training your RAS to focus on those things. So when you fill your vision board with images and words representing your goals, your reticular activating system starts filtering information around you to match those goals. Now, and this is where the visual stimulus comes in. When you have a vision board, it's really effective in activating the reticular activating system because our brains are wired to respond very strongly to visual input, making the images we put on our vision board more impactful than if it were just written down in some notebook, especially if you're not like constantly referring to that. And this visual reinforcement enhances the connection between our conscious desires and the subconscious reticular activating system. When you consistently expose yourself to the images and representations of your goals and intentions and the vibes you want to bring into your life through your vision board, your reticular activating system works to find opportunities and experiences that align with those goals. So you might notice opportunities, you might find opportunities that will lead you towards those goals. It can also lead to an increased motivation, better decision making, and just a heightened awareness of actions that move you closer to your goals. So as you can see, this is really backed by science, that reticular activating system. This is what we're training. This is what we're programming when we create a vision board. So step one is really just understanding that. And you can probably check that off right now. You just listen to this podcast. And if you're like, you can just take my word for it. Or if you want to, you could Google reticular activating system or vision boards and find more evidence for why this really does work and decide that this is going to work for you. So I guess the first thing is understanding why they work and deciding that you want to do it. Okay, step two is creating your vision board. Now let's talk about what we do to create that. So first you want to gather your necessary materials. So it can be like a board. Honestly, my first one, what I did, I grabbed some cardboard and I put tinfoil over it and I started putting the pictures on it and hung it on my wall. And actually very quickly, my husband, who's, as some of you might know if you've been following along, if it's your first time here, no worries. I'm going to explain it right now. His name is Randy. We call him Handy Randy. He has done a lot for our members and for honestly me with this company and everything. If you've ever watched any of my videos, I've got this gorgeous like back wall with our brand colors and everything. My husband did that. Basically, every time I go live, people ask about that. Actually working on moving my office and we're going to do the wall again. But he's also like done like tumblers and pencil holders and awesome things for our members and everything. But anyways, my point with this was he's very handy and he will just make things like that. So when I had this cardboard with tinfoil on the wall, he was like, I don't know if I really want cardboard with tinfoil on the wall. And he made me this gorgeous board. He got a cork board, he painted it gray, and this is how handy he is. We just had extra, baseboards from when we replaced our baseboards when we moved into this house because we wanted to just update it a little bit. And we had some extras. So he made like the frame using those, and then he used our silhouette, like vinyl cutter, to put "You Are Loved" on it. So cute. So he made me this vision board. So I've got a gorgeous one now, but I was completely happy with just like a board with tinfoil on it. You can also just find like a cork board or, whatever you would like. Just, pick what your board is going to be. It can be so simple. If anything is getting your weight, literally grab a cardboard box and just use that, hang that on your wall. There's nothing wrong with that. That is how I started. Now, the next thing you can do is decide if you're going to do just one overall vision board or if you want to do like one for like your personal family life, one for teaching. Now, so far, what I have done is just one vision board that I have everything. And then I kind of in one corner, I'll have like the personal stuff. And then the other corner will be kind of work-based. And then in the other corner will be like very like personal, just me-based. I'm actually toying with the idea now that we're kind of moving around my office and everything of having one in my office that is all work-related and one that is just personal and teaching my children, homeschooling them, like all those goals and family. But I haven't decided yet. I will decide on that soon as we get those rooms rearranged. But again, choosing what you want to do. If you are just getting started, honestly, I would recommend just doing one. Unless you're really gung-ho and you want one in your classroom and at home. Doing just one for me has worked for years. Like, I love that. So if you are like, I can't decide, just let me decide for you. You can just do one. Okay. But I just wanted to throw that idea out there that you can do different themed ones if you want. The next would be thinking about what goals, what intentions you want on your vision board. And honestly, I sometimes do this as I'm building it as well. Like I start with a list that I want to do. So any goals you have, personal or work related, like maybe you want to put together some sort of curriculum for the kids you're working with. Maybe you want to lose a certain amount of weight. Maybe you want to do some of your hobbies more that you haven't been doing. Just think about what you kind of want in there. And then what are your current, also think about like what current feelings are you feeling a lot, or what are you ruminating on? What are you stressing about that seems to consistently come up? And what can you put on your vision board to remind you and kind of rewire your brain each day? That is something I always do as well. Okay, next you want to find the visuals that will represent those things for you. So I want to tell you kind of some examples of things that I've put on my vision board in case that might help you. And the other thing I want to share is the more specific you can make it, the better. Like for my weight loss, I found a picture of a scale. I just Googled it and then I actually put the weight on the scale that I wanted to hit. And I put that on there. So it's like, I'm like, okay, here's my goal weight. And I'm visualizing it each day. I also have it with like the number of podcast downloads because I want to reach like a certain number of teachers with this podcast. So I have that up there. And the number of members I want to see in Wife Teacher Mommy Club. Those are kind of goals, professional goals for me. I had a picture of my life coach school certification. I mocked it up with like my name on the certificate before I had even done it. So I could visualize, hey, here is that certification. Look, I am a certified coach. Before I had even signed up for certification, I had that up there. So I knew it was something I'm working towards. I mocked up an image of the physical planners that we now offer. I just took ones that were like kind of similar in design, and I like put our planner over it, like put wife, teacher, mommy brand on it. And I like, basically made it look like a listing was in our shop of the planners. I also put the self-coaching model on my vision board so I can remember each day, like circumstances are neutral. It's my thoughts that create my feelings, that drive my actions, create my results. I see that every day. I put an image of the gap and the gain to remind myself, am I in the gap or am I in the gain? If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a book by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. I highly recommend it. I also refer to it in episode, I'm not sure what number it is actually, but it's called Own Your Teacher Wins. It is a full recording of my session from Educate and Rejuvenate. Highly recommend listening to that if you haven't yet. And then I put up lots of just visual images of reminders of, so it's not just goals. So some are goals, like very specific, like this has an end date. This is something that at some point I'm going to take it off the board and put it in a book to remind myself that once this was a goal, now I've done it. Kind of celebrate that the vision board helped me achieve it. But and the other things I have is I just put a family picture up there. So I remember that my family is one of my focuses. And you can do that for things with like faith or other things as well that you want to make sure are in your focus each day. I also put pictures of places I'd like to go on vacation just because I think that's fun. Like, or I just put pictures like of the mountains, like vibes I want to feel, like, oh, I want to feel more relaxed. So you can just put like a picture of like the ocean or the mountains, whatever makes you feel relaxed, or however you just want to try to show up in your life. I put lots of quotes on my vision board, especially like I mentioned for things like, if I'm in a lot of scarcity mindset where I'm like worried about like things or whatever, or if I'm whatever I'm currently kind of trying to overcome thought patterns, I put up quotes that kind of help counteract that. Or like, if I'm trying to work on my self-confidence or my giving myself more grace, for example, one quote I've had up there that I leave up there is from Christina Kuzmich, who I love. Give yourself more credit than criticism, more grace than judgment. That's been up on my vision board. Now, a couple that I'm just about to add as I'm kind of maintaining my vision board, like I mentioned, that's a step I haven't mentioned yet. That's a step I'm going to get to. But again, I'm like adding more things. One quote that I just heard in a book I'm listening to, the book is called The Universe Has Your Back. I'm really enjoying it. But one quote that she said is, those who are certain of the outcome can afford to wait and wait without anxiety. Now, that is something when that just hit me, I'm like, okay, if you ever hear a quote that hits you, put it on your vision board so that you can continually get reminded of it. So that's from Gabrielle Bernstein. And I'm putting that one up on my vision board very soon. And then another one that came up in another book I'm listening to, which is called Believe It by Jamie Kern-Lina. Love her. It's know your why, then fly, girl, fly. So these are quotes that I'm putting up on my vision board to just remind myself each day of those things. Another thing you can do is pictures of your hobbies. So like I'll put a picture of a book up there because I want to make sure that I'm taking time to read. It's something I enjoy. And a lot of times we forget to make time for those things that we enjoy. So I put pictures of those things I enjoy. Like I put up a picture of like Taylor Swift, like, hey, let's make sure you're like listening to music that you enjoy. Make sure that you are filling your life with those things that bring you joy as well, not just all about your goals and your work or, but just the things that you enjoy, making sure that those make it into your life as well. So those are just some ideas of things that you can put on your vision board. I just will a lot of times go to Google and I'm like, I want something for this. And I Google and you find images. And this is like completely fair use because you're not like distributing it to anyone. You can just grab an image, print it out, put it on your board. Like you're just using it personally. So that's totally fine. Everything's fair game, really. But one thing I do want to mention is for those of you who are in Wife Teacher Mommy Club, I haven't planned the dates yet. This week I plan to, well, it actually probably is up by the time you're listening. So check your club dashboard. But as of when I'm recording, I don't have the date for this workshop yet, but sometime in September, I plan on doing a workshop about vision boards. And I'm going to have a bunch of printables for like common goals or just lots of quotes that I think would be applicable to teachers, like a lot of the ones that are in our teacher planner and everything. So you're not starting completely from scratch. You can go through and kind of pick those images and we'll do a workshop. I'll share even more about vision boards and we can even like do them, work on them together. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of accountability to get it done. So if you're in the club, look forward to that. Now, the next thing you want to do is when you have all your items, you get to arrange them onto the board creatively, like however you'd like what I mentioned, what I kind of do because I have one vision board. I kind of usually put like theme the areas. Like I kind of have like the 4 quadrants of the vision board, or it's not really exact because I feel like there's more than 4 different categories I have them in, but I try to put like, I kind of put my hobbies by each other. I kind of put my like professional stuff by each other. I put my personal goals by each other, put family stuff. I put like the vibes and vacations and all those, or like just places I would love to travel one day. I put all of those somewhere and then I put quotes on another area or whatever. So But you got to do it creatively. Like if your brain likes it mixed up too, that is great. The reason why I do the categories is because usually when I'm looking at it each day, I'm kind of like, I look at the whole thing, but then I'm like, what am I going to focus on today? And then the next thing, once you've created it, you want to put the vision board in a prominent place that you are going to see it every day. So right now I have mine in my bedroom next to my bed, so I can just look at it, as I'm getting ready in the morning, right when I get up, as I'm going to bed. It's just kind of there for me to see it and notice it. And again, you could put it in your classroom, you could put it in wherever is somewhere that you want to see it. And again, that might also depend on if you choose to do one or multiple for different areas of your life. Okay, so that was step 2, is to create your vision board. Now, step 3 is to use it and maintain it. So the way you use it is, what I do is I want to spend at least 3 minutes a day looking at it. And like I kind of started to mention, I want to look at the whole thing. I kind of like scan through it and remind myself what each of those things are. But then I might pick either like one area of the vision board, like whether that's personal or professional or the quotes, whatever. And I don't like be like, okay, on this day I'm going to do this, on this day I'm going to do that. It's whatever I feel. I'm like, okay, today I'm feeling drawn towards this. I'm going to really focus on that for a few minutes and think about and this is where the power is. This is where you're training that reticular activating system. You kind of think about, okay, where am I at with this? What are some things I could do? This is where you kind of get your brain to work. I really like to do this in the morning because that's where it sets your intentions for the coming day. And again, it can be just like a few minutes. I really like 3 minutes though, as like kind of the minimum, because we all could take 3 minutes to set our intentions and train our reticular activating system on what is going to move us forward to where we want to go in our lives. So that is the big part of using it, and then maintaining it. So keeping it updated and relevant. So if you hit one of the goals, you can, take it off the board and you can put what you want up. Or if something changes, like there are times where I take something down just because that actually no longer is a goal of mine. Like I've realized I'm changing directions. I can take it down then, because you don't want something up there that is no longer one of your intentions. So you can also just update it depending on how you feel. Or if okay, this quote served its time, I no longer need the reminder of that, I need the reminder of this, so just keep it updated on what you currently need. Reviewing those intentions regularly, adjusting them as needed, whether you hit them or whether you're changing directions, and then celebrating those milestones and successes along the way. So like I mentioned in my Own Your Teacher Wins session and podcast episode, when you hit a goal that was on your vision board, you can then take it off the board, but add it to like a binder or a book or something where you can then go back and be like, oh, these are all the things that were once up on my vision board that now I've accomplished, or now I no longer need this reminder because I have feel like I've trained myself in that and I'm focusing on something else. You can put those in your book to show that you've kind of graduated those things from your vision board so you can see your progress. And I just love that, be able to go back through and see all those things that you've accomplished. And then the other important thing is consistency. The effectiveness of your vision board is tied directly to how often you use it. So if you make it and put it up, but then you never look at it, it's just kind of there. Obviously, it's not going to train your reticular activating system to navigate towards those goals and intentions. So regularly reviewing it, like I said, daily, each morning is a great way to do it. And stay committed to your goals will reinforce that connection between your conscious intentions and the subconscious programming of your reticular activating system. Okay, so let's kind of go through again what we learned from this episode. So it was really 3 steps. So the first was understanding the why behind vision boards and how they work. So understanding that by creating a vision board, you are training your reticular activating system to focus on those goals and intentions. It's just like when you're shopping for a car, or, it's back to school time and you suddenly notice all of the supplies everywhere. And that actually is that. Okay, that may not be the best example because there actually are more of them, but you might notice things a lot more, based on what you're focusing on, right? We know that is a phenomenon that we see in our lives. So that is taking that phenomenon and using it to our advantage with a vision board. And we also know that visual stimuli, our brain responds really well to. So we are just using this to train our brain into the direction that we want to go. Step 2 is creating your vision board. So first, getting the board, whatever it is, whether it's like I mentioned, like a piece of cardboard, you can put some tinfoil on it or not, or you make a board, or you buy a cork board from the store, or you go on Amazon and look for a vision board, whatever it is, just get the board and don't let that get in the way of your doing it, because you can always upgrade it or change it later. Just pick something. Then deciding if you want 1 or 2, and then starting to cut or more, or how exactly you want to do it. This is your creative project. Let your creativity shine. This is where you get to find those images, those quotes, those reminders, pictures of your hobbies, pictures of all the things that you want to remember each day. You get to put those up on your vision board. And this is all you. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And then finally is once you create it, don't let it go to waste. Don't let that energy and effort you put into your vision board to be in vain. Use it daily, consistently. I recommend 3 minutes per day. Focus on look at all of it, focus on a section of it. Wherever you feel drawn, use that vision board, and that is what will train your reticular activating system. I really do believe that this can really transform your personal life and your professional life, help you to feel more balanced, help you to feel more intention in your life, help you to not be just a spectator of your life, but actually a physical participant in it, creating what you want to see in your life. Now, if you're listening live in August of 2022 or even into September, if you are a club member, we'll dive even more into the brain science behind this, and we'll have accountability to get our stuff together and actually do it. Plus, like I said, I plan on having lots of different visuals that you can add to your vision board. Again, you're going to also want to make it your own and find some, but we will have a lot so you're not starting from scratch. It's going to be so much fun. It's only for members of Wife Teacher Mommy Club, which is our paid membership. So if you're in the club, add it to your calendar. If you aren't in the club yet, wherever you're listening, go to wifeteachermommy.com/club. We are kind of moving things around right now, but that will take you to the info you need to know about joining, whether we're open or you can request an invite or whatever is going on. But just go to that link or even our website homepage or show notes, and you'll learn more about joining. And again, we don't gatekeep any of our replays. So if you're listening to this in a year or 2 years or whatever, if you join, you'll be able to watch the replay of that session as well and get all those printables and everything. So thank you again for tuning in. I would love to invite you to share your experiences with me of your vision boards and intentions. We have those discussion threads going on in the Wife Teacher Mommies Unite Facebook group, which is our free Facebook group. We even have a little Wife Teacher Mommy credit giveaway every week when you participate in those discussion threads as of right now. And then next week, I'm having Trisha Fugelstad, who's the author of Peter O Meter, which is an amazing book that you can use to teach about social emotional learning or STEM in your classroom or homeschool. I'm having her on the podcast. We're going to be talking about her experience creating the book. We're going to be talking about how different ways to teach STEM and social emotional learning. So you're going to want to listen to that episode. So we'll talk then. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you're ready to take the next step and work with me and take everything you learn on this podcast to the 10x level, I'd love for you to join me inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club. You'll get access to a library of 1,000+ resources that will help you take back your time. The resources alone easily pay off your club membership. Plus, if you join us on the quarterly plan or above, you'll get our luxury leather-bound teacher planner, a $50 value shipped to your door for free. But in my humble opinion, the most important part of the club is the opportunity to get coached on whatever comes your way, that you can thrive in teaching and life. You'll get to join weekly coaching calls with me and fellow club coaches to not only listen and consume this content, but really apply it to your life. This is where the magic happens. The doors are closed the majority of the year, but you can request a personalized invitation as a podcast listener. Simply go to wifeteachermommy.com/podcast invite to learn more. You can also find the link in the show notes. I hope to see you face to face on Zoom soon inside Wife Teacher Mommy Club.